versus cut. Which one is better? Well, having done both for the past 2 years, I can say that bulking is definitely easier. But why do we bulk and cut? Well, when it comes to bulking, the main goal is to increase strength and size. This occurs with a calorie surplus, meaning that you're eating more than you burn. When it comes to cutting, the goal is to reduce size while keeping some of your strength. But the question remains, is this necessary for muscle growth? Well, yes and no. While you do need a certain amount of calories to build muscle, having too little and too many calories do give drawbacks that will negatively impact your training. When cutting, people often make the mistake of cutting too many calories. That leaves the body taking energy from muscle instead of fat. Thus, the result of this would be becoming skinny fat. And the problem with bulking is that yes, while some of your lifts do go up, your overall cardio will decrease because of all the weight that you have to carry. If your cardio is decreased, then so will your reps in weight training. And I'm only talking to beginners here. It's totally possible to be someone who masters the art of weight training and doing cardio while being in a cutting or bulking phase. I've only done one bulk and one cut, and these are the results. This is me, June 2022, weighing 163 pounds. And this is me, July 2023, weighing 175 pounds. Putting these two pictures side by side, you can see a total difference. There are definitely parts that are bigger while bulking, and there are some parts that are more defined while cutting. But the question still remains, which one do I choose? Well, it depends on your body type. Of course, if you are to the point of unhealthy amounts of overeating and undereating, then you should probably do one of both. But what is most important is being at a weight that is healthy for you. Because what's the point of bulking and cutting if you aren't healthy first? I suggest you first be at a healthy body fat, and then if you want to change your looks, you can choose to either bulk or cut. Health is the key to living a long and healthy life, and health is something that absolutely comes first before worrying about your looks. Now, as I said, when it comes to choosing between bulk and cut, it just depends on how you want to look. Do you want to look defined and shredded, or do you want to look big and strong? Okay, but now that we know what we want, let's talk about how we can achieve it. Let's start with cutting. One of the biggest things that you're going to need if you're going to cut is willpower, because you're going to be starving all the time. You're going to have a lack of energy and mostly be in a bad mood. Now, if your body fat levels are high, then cutting might be easy for you for a while, because the body will have a lot of fat sources that it can use as energy. But once your fat sources are low, there will be a lack of energy. When you reach this point, either you can do two things. You can use more willpower and keep the cut going, or you can stay at this weight where you don't feel too hungry and maintain from there. The second option is obviously the most healthy one. The first option is mostly for bodybuilders and people who do this kind of stuff professionally. But when it comes to actual calories, I find that calories in, calories out is the best way to go about it. It follows the law of thermodynamics, meaning that if something comes in, something comes out. So when it comes to losing weight, the out portion would be spending energy, either being by your BMR or the physical activities that you do throughout your day. And the in would have to be, of course, calories. When I was cutting, I walked a lot in my university. That meant that I burned a lot of calories as well. I used a step counter app to count my steps. Then on top of that, I did an hour of steady state cardio. And by doing this, I ended up burning about 800 to 900 calories from just physical activities. Then on top of that, you add your BMR, which is basically how many calories you burn while not being physically active. You can calculate your BMR using a BMR calculator. I will leave one in the description below. But in total, this left me with 2,600 calories burned. Now, in order to cut, you need to be in a deficit. It's basic knowledge. A deficit between 500 to 200 calories would be the most beneficial. So for me, in order to lose weight with my body type, I would have to be eating 2,200 calories per day. Now, at first glance, this might sound easy. I mean, 2,200 is a lot of calories, right? But you have to remember that the more calories you burn, the more hungry you're gonna be. I mean, that's the reason why most people fail their cuts, because their body will try to consume the lack of calories they're used to, and then they end up gaining more weight than what they started with. That's why I recommend to stop the cut at a point where you're not too hungry. If you don't know what type of cardio to do and you don't know what foods to eat while cutting, I recommend watching my video on dieting. Click on the eye icon and watch it after this video. As I said at the beginning of this video, bulking is way easier than cutting. I mean, we all love to eat, and if you do it right, you can bulk without suffering. The same rule of calories in, calories out applies when it comes to bulking. You just have to eat high calorie food instead of low calorie food. You won't have to suffer if your surplus is around the same amount of calories as your deficit. I mean, it's really not that hard eating an additional 300 calories. That's like 1 cup of oatmeal. But Diego, if bulking is so easy, then why do people say it's hard? It's because people are impatient and they like to force feed. Let's take me for an example. I could have achieved the same amount of progress in 2 months while force feeding and dirty bulking. But what I did is I maintained not too big of a surplus for about 6 months while eating clean foods and doing healthy amounts of exercise. When it came to my training, of course my lifts went up up and I felt a lot more stronger. And obviously my cardio diminished just a little bit, but I found that doing cardio actually helped me more while bulking because your body will try to compensate for the lost calories and then some. But in total, I ended up doing the same amount of cardio as before, and with that left me eating 3,200 calories per day. As for the foods, one protein bar that has helped me a lot and tastes really good and has a lot of calories is Fit Crunch. This bar has a total of 380 calories. You can find this at your local 7-Eleven, and of course, I'm not sponsored. But oatmeal, avocados, nuts, peanut butter, protein powder, bananas, there are all types of foods out there that are great for bulking, and they're really not that hard to spot. Like, it's easy to know that pizza and ice cream are unhealthy bulk options, while going the unhealthy route for bulking can lead to progress. In the long run, it will lead to unhealthy symptoms. While it is easier, doing the clean way will make you feel much better. However, it is harder though, because foods that have a lot of protein and a lot of fiber make you more full. So if you're eating massive amounts of protein and fiber, you can expect to be absolutely full. In conclusion, once you have completed your goal to either bulk or cut, look back to see if the suffering was really worth it. I remember too, when I finished my cut, I remember thinking that the whole process was pointless, but to tell the truth, it wasn't. I gained a lot of experience and inside knowledge of what it takes to diet. Either way, if you fell, relapse, or are in your weight loss journey right now, you should consider and look back on what you've been learning and motivate yourself and say, if I am able to change this aspect of my life, I will be on the road to becoming a much better person. Alright, and that's about it. Thank you everybody so much for watching this video. If you need a high quality video edited, you can hire me on Upwork. Link will be in the description below. Thank you everybody, and always remember to live your life like there's no tomorrow.